Welcome to our Clarity and Focus session today. Today, we're going to be talking about CRMs, Customer Relationship Management software, why it's important, why it's a must, how to use them. I'm even going to show you a setup of a simple CRM for a sales process that you can actually utilize. And we're going to be talking about a really cool event that's going to be coming up on the 18th of June. So welcome to our focus or clarity and focus session here at Consulting Unleashed. Essentially, one of the reasons why I think this is really important, a lot of people don't spend a lot of time on this, but it's something that I have known for most of my business, my entrepreneurial business life, is that a database is key, and your ability to manage that database and to access and to utilize that in a way that's going to generate revenue and value for your business is absolutely critical. Every major company or most major corporations and companies use databases, and one of the cool things about sales and sales automation is the reporting factor, the ability to forecast, the ability to see what's ahead of you, the ability to create deal flow, but more importantly, to focus your intentions on the most important part of your business, and that is to be consistently generating and engaging customers in your business. So that's why a CRM or a customer relationship management software is absolutely critical to your business. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just open my slides. I'm going to share those with you in just a second. Where are we? We're over here. Oh, we're over here. Okay, so customer relationship management software to crush your sales. So first of all, we need to talk about why do you absolutely need a CRM. So most people are managing their leads on things like spreadsheets. In fact, I've had many conversations, even with senior vice presidents and presidents of marketing and directors of marketing of major corporations. I'm talking $100 million, $200, $300 million companies. And I asked them this question: what sort of CRM are you using for your salespeople in terms of managing sales? And they will say, we're using SAP spreadsheets. Companies, hundreds of million dollars, managing an entire customer base on spreadsheets, which is insane, absolutely insane. A lot of people I know in the agency world are managing the leads on spreadsheets. They're getting leads, scraping them, putting them into an Excel spreadsheet, and managing their contacts and leads in a spreadsheet. That is insanity, because you're going to miss out on so many opportunities. You're not able to actually see what's going on at a snapshot in your business. And more importantly, you're not going to be focused on the most important thing, because most people kind of live in their email and they kind of live in their social media pages. But if you really want to grow your business, you need to live in your CRM, because this is where your business is at. So let's talk about what are some good CRM options. Now, there are literally, by the way, there are thousands. I'm going to share a few of them. There's a few names you're going to know. We have the biggest CRMs like Salesforce. We have Marketo, which are enterprise version. I'm not going to be talking about those types of CRMs. I'm going to be talking about more functional, simple. In fact, I'm going to walk you through one CRM. We're going to walk you through the sales process. So what are some of the good CRM options? So just to give you an example, High Level, or Go High Level, or GHL as it's known, $97 a month. It is a great CRM because it incorporates lead management tools for running ad campaigns into, but also email, messenger bots, text messaging, voice message, voice drops, also push to call, where you can have somebody actually request to talk to you, and then you receive that call to say, hey, would you like to accept this customer? So you can actually push into call, and also it can automatically allocate leads to salespeople. So if there are other people in your business that are allocated to sales, not just you, you can have a system automatically allocate those sales. So High Level, Go High Level is a great, simple CRM tool, one that is evolving. It's got things like landing pages. There's a whole bunch of functionality in the actual software, but it's really cool to automate the sales process. Great for managing clients. Also great for giving you stats on how those clients go. Streak for Gmail is free. So Streak, streak.com. You can get it free. It literally just snaps into your Google, your Gmail G Suite, and you can manage all your leads in all your emails. So you can have your CRM and your emails all working at the same time in conjunction. It's a very simple tool, great for using to manage leads in the marketplace. I highly recommend Streak CRM. Active Campaign, very popular email automation autoresponder, but they have a CRM section, about $49 per month. It's great because you can actually map out your sales process, like I'm going to show you with a piece of software in just a moment. But you can basically structure your sales process using something like Active Campaign. HubSpot CRM, it's free. There are other functionalities in outbound, inbound, social media, and marketing management. It's a great tool. It is free, lots of functionality. Pipedrive, one of my favorites, and actually I'm going to show you inside a Pipedrive account to show you how I would set up sales leads in a CRM that are focused purely on generating conversions. So I'm going to share that with you in this process. So Pipedrive, $12.50 a month, I think is a cheap version, both driven on mobile app and also on desktop and iPad, really easy, really functional. And the other one of my favorites is Close.io. The reason why I love this software is because it really is focused on moving the person through your sales cycle to get them to the converted sale. And there's a lot of prompters and all that sort of stuff. It has been developed specifically for sales, and I think it's a really cool app, but one that's easy to use. 25 bucks a month, not very expensive. To manage a business that's going to generate hundreds, thousands, or millions of dollars, it is a no-brainer. But these are some of the CRMs that you want to be paying attention to for your business. So how can I set up CRM to maximize sales? One of the things that you want to do is you want to map out your sales process. So from the time you initially generate a lead, to how that lead is engaged, to take the next step in perhaps booking an appointment in your calendar, or you actually physically speaking to the person, then by qualifying that person, taking them through the process of now providing a solution or doing a discovery. From that discovery, you're going to deliver a presentation. From that presentation, you're going to ask the person, or you may generate a proposal, or you may do an offer. From that offer, there's going to be some follow-up, and from that follow-up, they're either going to buy into your product or into your program or into a service, or they are not going to buy. So that literally walks you through the structure in a sales process. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of an understanding on perhaps what the components, the key components. I'm going to show you setup. Now, my setup doesn't necessarily mean that's your setup. Like I said, what you want to be doing is you want to draw out what your sales process is, and then you want to place your sales process inside the CRM. And most CRMs have kind of like a graphic user interface functionality where you can actually, step one, step two. So each step of the sales process, you can actually allocate where people are at in their sales cycle in your CRM. So very cool, very succinct. This is a setup, so I'm going to show you what the tabs that I have used in a particular CRM for lead gen into a sales opportunity. So lead in to me is a lead that has either come from an advertisement, so they've engaged with an offer, or they've engaged with, they might have gone to a Facebook ad or a LinkedIn ad or an AdWords campaign, or even an email marketing campaign. But the lead has actively been engaged at some level, right? But at this stage, it is cold. It is a cold lead, right? So from there's something that's been made. There's an offer being made. So the second stage is the cold outreach. Now, in my case, I would prefer, we have what we call sales development representatives, SDR, appointment setters. What they do is their job is to call all the leads, leads that have been engaged with some sort of offer. Email, Facebook, Google ad campaign, LinkedIn campaign, some form of social media offer, how they got into the list, and then from there we need to engage the list. So we have a cold outreach structure where an SDR or a sales development representative calls that person to generate a booked appointment, right? So the next thing is we want to make sure this appointment is booked. This appointment is to have a little bit of a chit chat to qualify the customer. Are you a good fit? Are you okay? Is this right for you? What is the next stage, right? Now we have in any sales cycle, not everybody shows up. So we want to have a tab where we say no show. So the person didn't show up their appointment, then we want to be able to give that appointment back to our SDR, and that SDR is going to follow that person up to reconfirm an appointment for another time. So we don't lose opportunities, and that's one of the key factors as to why CRMs are so important, so that you don't lose opportunities. So we have a no-show, then we have a presentation. So within the no-show and the presentation, we're doing what we call our discovery. We're going to ask a whole bunch of questions, maybe send out a questionnaire, maybe set a time to generate a question. But the presentation is designed to sell, to pitch the customer. This is where we make our presentation and we offer. So we see that we have a tab for the persons in the presentation phase of the sales process, right? Then we either have an offer, we either make it, we've got three choices. Well, we actually got two choices. The two choices are, we always make an offer on the spot. In our presentation, in our structure, in our strategy, we always ask the customer to buy at the presentation. every single time. We set the presentation up so that they agree they're going to make a decision at the presentation. And then in the presentation, we're going to ask them to buy, to commit, to sign an agreement, pay us some money to get going. Now, in this structure, 30% of the people we make that offer to make the purchase on the spot in that presentation call. We don't have to do any follow-up or any sending out of information, because they've decided, based on the structure or the strategy we use to present and pitch, to buy our services. So that's what happens in the presentation. We make an offer, or if that's not the case, then we're going to have to send some information and follow that up. So we have an offer, and we might have gone, hey, here's the presentation, here's the information, here's your investment, here's your agreement, and we followed up. We sent an email from the presentation. So they didn't buy on the spot, but we want to make sure they have all the information to make a consideration to buy. Then the next critical thing is the follow-up, right? We have to do our follow-up. We have to follow up everybody. In fact, sometimes we're following up people anywhere between 7 to 12 times, because at the end of the day, if you think about the average sale, it could be 25 grand, it could be 50 grand, it could be $100,000. My question is it worth following up half a dozen times or a dozen times to go and pick up a check for $25,000 to $100,000? And the answer is always going to be yes. Most people give up too easily. The beauty of doing this in a CRM is the CRM will prompt you to do those follow-ups so that you don't lose your sales opportunities. What generally happens in most cases in a follow-up scenario is people get, you're doing presentations, and all of a sudden, month by month goes, you've got all these presentations, you've got all these follow-ups. And if you don't remember, if you don't have a way to manage all those follow-ups, what happens is you forget people. You actually lose sales because you haven't put them in a follow-up cycle. And so ultimately, this has happened to me in the past where I've used spreadsheets and gone, oh, I forgot to call that person. It's like 3 weeks later, and that sales opportunity is gone. Well, in a CRM, that doesn't happen. It literally prompts you to make that call. It prompts you to say, make sure you follow up. If you don't follow up, send out this email, at least following up with an email, and then you're going to follow up with a phone call. So follow-up is absolutely critical to maximizing your opportunity to close deals in this process, right? Super, super important in CRM. So the next tab is they've either joined the program, they bought, or they didn't join the program. Now I have two aspects or two sides of this. We have one scenario is a yes is a yes, they bought, right? A no is a no, not for me, wrong timing, too much money, whatever the reason, they're a no. But the one in the middle is a maybe. So the maybe is, hey, I need to think about it, I need to consider this, need to look at our options, need to make some adjustments to be able to accommodate this. That's a maybe. To me, a maybe is a no. It is a yes or a no. A maybe is a no. A maybe is not a sale. There's no money in your bank account. So what you want to do is you want to turn a maybe into a no very quickly. Within 48 hours to 72 hours, you need to make it a dead set no, right? And here's why. If you hang on to a sale, sometimes you're hanging on, and the client keeps putting you off. And so it's like, give us a call in 2 weeks' time. And then a month goes by, and then 2 months goes by. And before you know it, you've been calling back for 3 months and no decision. The problem is they have forgotten 85% of what you told them 3 days after you did your presentation. So 2 months down the track, it might be just still about the price, and they forget about all the value. And the other thing that happens is things might have changed. Technology might have changed. Your strategy and your structure might have changed. So understand that this is why you want to get a no, a definitive no, within 72 hours of making a sale. And there's a couple of ways in which to do that. I'll talk about that in just a moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this presentation for a moment. I'm going to open up Pipedrive. I'm going to show you this exact setup and how it looks and how it works. And you can copy or you can do exactly the same thing in this process. So let me just stop the share for a moment. We've got a whole bunch of people here. Good to see you here. And we're going to go to our interwebs. So we're looking at my screen here. And we're just going to go to Pipedrive. Where are we? Here we are. So here we are in Pipedrive, right? So you'll notice everything I've just shared with you is actually set up in this CRM. Pipedrive is a very inexpensive CRM, but I love Pipedrive because it does things like, if you look at it here, there are $3.2 million worth of deals here. There's $1.6 million worth of deals on the table. There are 131 deals in this software, right now. So this gives me an idea of indication of revenue, of what's in here. This is a demonstration. I'm just going to walk you through how this actually works. The reason why I love any other CRM, most other CRMs kind of function very similarly. They have dashboards and all those sorts of things. I'm not going to go into the dashboards, and I'm not going to go into the functions functionalities of a CRM. That's something for you to figure out when you invest in a CRM. You want to learn how to use it. And a CRM is only as good as the data you put into it. And that's why this is important. That's why this becomes the only piece of software that you actually have on the table. This is the only thing you look at. In my desktop, when I'm in our sales mode, this is the only tab that will be open. Everything else will be closed. This is all I want to see. That sales, that database is where I want to be. I want to be either in my calendar, I want to be in my database. I don't want to be in my email. I don't want to be in my social media pages. I want to be out. So when I'm focused on the very thing I need to be focused on, every other tab, you might see a whole bunch of tabs here. Every other tab is closed. The only two tabs that are open are my drive and my calendar. All right, my drive, my Pipedrive, my calendar, or my CRM and my calendar. I've used many CRMs. I've used a lot of enterprise versions. We use Salesforce in our agency. I built a huge business around Marketo, NetSuite. We used to do integration at enterprise level. Let me tell you, CRMs are vital, and most small businesses don't use them. And we've just gone through a huge economic upheaval in the coronavirus scenario. We've just gone through an upheaval, and a lot of the reasons why businesses have failed is because they don't do this. They didn't have a place to manage their customers. They didn't have a space to be able to communicate effectively to their customers. And this is why it's imperative that if you do or you don't, you must have a CRM. So let's have a look at this very quick one just to walk you through the structure and the functionality, and then we're going to keep on going. So here we have lead in, just like the tabs I just showed you. This is a lead in. So when I call it a lead in, they had to have had either a cold email's gone to it, or they've had they've come in from an ad, you know, a Facebook ad, AdWords campaign, social media post. They've come in through something where they've had some interaction from our team, from our business, right? Some interaction. So they've either had an email or they've had they've come to us, inbound or outbound, doesn't matter which. Right, so once we put the lead in, then we get our SDRs, our sales development representatives who live in this CRM, is they have to contact all the leads, right? Their whole deal is they need to contact all the leads, right? In this particular case, we're selling a particular product. It's a $25,000 product. And so this CRM is purely, these are all the $25,000 product category guys, right? So in this CRM, right, every deal, and I'm not going to go into how to set this up because that's not what this is about. This is about the fact that you need to be using one, and this is how to use one to make sure you maximize your sales and you crush it. This is not to learn how to actually do the data points. You can do that by watching the videos of the software that you buy, right, or you invest in, or that you take. Lots of free software out there, lots of free training on how to set up a CRM, right? This is just how we set it up to generate our sales. So lead in, right? Then we have cold outreach. Our cold outreach generally is we try to get people on the phone so that we can actually book an appointment. So all these leads that we're actively engaging, what happens is we move them from one side, right, to the other, right? So for here, and these are the people we're actively engaging in our cold outreach. This is the lead list here that our salespeople are working with right now to get a booked appointment, right? So if we get Heather over here and she's going to book an appointment, we literally just pick her up and we just shift her over to book appointment. So whoever that appointment was booked with, right? Whoever that appointment was booked with, I'm gonna have to change this all around because I'm gonna mess up with my salespeople. Whoever I've booked the appointment with, or whatever salesperson booked the appointment with, now they have a booking, they have an appointment, they have an email, it's in their calendar, right? It's locked in. There's an automated sales follow-up to make sure the person turns up to the appointment. This is a qualifying appointment. Now, if the person does not show, right, does a no-show, then immediately the SDR goes back to engaging these people to try and get them back into a booked appointment. So if they're a no-show, whatever the no-show is, right, we try and get them back into an appointment. So our SDR over here, the people who do the outreach, are calling all the no-shows to get them back into an appointment. Now, from the appointment, we qualify them, we filter them, and we want to make sure that they're okay, that they're worthwhile for us to do a presentation with. So then what happens is we move them from here over here to the presentation mode, right? So we move them over there. So in presentation, another action takes place. We set up a discovery. This is happening in our calendar. We have a discovery, learn a bit more about the business, formulate our presentation, our pitch together, make sure that we put all the numbers in there, and then we do the presentation. In the presentation, we are going to make an offer. We are going to make an offer inside this presentation. At the end, we're going to ask them to buy the product, right? We're going to buy the product. Now, if they don't buy the product, then we will actually give them information and we have to put them in a follow-up, right? So offer sent. So once we've done the presentation, if they didn't buy on the spot, then they have to be, we have to send them some information. Hey, well, this is how you buy. This is our agreement. This is the price point. right? We're going to follow you up. And then our salesperson will follow this person up, right? Once all these offers there, they spend time following up all these deals to close the deal, right? Now, in the follow-up, one of two things are going to happen. Remember, the third thing, a maybe is a no, right? So if somebody doesn't close, they will stay in the follow-up until we get a definitive no, or a definitive yes, a definitive no or a definitive yes. So no, I'm not going to join the program. Yes, I am. Did not join the program. Join the program. So here is where people are in the follow-up mode, where sometimes we might have to ask people between 7 and 12 times to buy or invest in the deal, because we're answering questions, making sure we're fine-tuning our offer, making sure that it's relevant, making sure that they're ready to go, and we're building that relationship. And so that we never lose a deal. In this structure that I've just shared with you, if you follow this process, you will minimize any loss of a potential deal in the marketplace. So many people miss out on sales opportunities because they just let them pass, because they don't get back in time. They don't follow up enough. They don't ask enough questions. And so this system, this process that I've just shared with you, is designed to stop that from happening. It's designed to stop that from happening. So that is how you set up a simple CRM process. So I'm just going to stop sharing here for a moment. We're going to get into there. Whoops, we're going to open up our thing again, get to our screen, open up our screen. We're back to our presentation. And so this is our CRM. So everything that I've just shared with you is exactly this outline. I am recording this. We're going to put this up in the YouTubes. We're going to put this up in the Consulting Unleashed Facebook group so you can actually see. But everything is here that you need simply to manage a CRM process. Now, there are details in between, because each step in the mind map or in the flow has certain elements attached to it, right? In the lead gen part, there are things like your email, your lead magnet, your cold outreach, your your campaign, the funnel, all those sorts of things are at the beginning of that stage. In the follow-up, the phone call, what is the script that we use to call people that fits in to the CRM? In fact, in our CRM, all of that is mapped out inside each of those sections. So we can actually see, here's the phone script. We've automated, or we've processed or created a standard operating procedure around, this is how we call people. This is what we say to people. This is what happens if they say these things to us. So we have responses for all their responses. And we've developed that process to maximize the opportunity for conversion to an appointment, right? So once we have an appointment, we have a process that we follow through the appointment. There is what we call a triage process, where we ask some questions, we see if they're a fit, we make sure they can afford to pay for the product or service we have, we make sure that we qualify them in the appointment before we make the offer to the presentation. So then now we've scripted out the presentation. We have a pitch deck. That pitch deck stays exactly the same. The only thing that changes, because the service is the same, the product is the same, and the presentation is the same. The only thing that will change is the relevance to the client. So it might be, here's your objective, here's why that's important, here's what's stopping you from hitting that outcome, here is our solution to help you get there. Let me demonstrate how our program, our marketing campaign will help you bridge the gap from where you are now to where you want to be. So we have that mapped out in its entirety in our sales process. And from there, then we have the follow-up. So we actually scripted, here's what we do in our follow-up. So we have about 25 follow-up scripts, right? So in those 25 follow-up scripts is depending on how we approach, who we approach, what questions that we want to ask to open up the conversation, how do we re-warm them up if it's gone for too long, what happens in the follow-up after 72 hours, how do we get them to a no? All of that is scripted out. So all of that is banked up into the system that everybody follows, right? If everybody follows the system, then the conversion rates are going to be consistent. We can improve on things. We can improve on those systems and processes because we've actually mapped and drawn out every part of that process, right? This is a systemized process. So the CRM part, doing all the bits and pieces, the key thing to note is you need to input your data. If you're not inputting your data, you are minimizing the opportunity of making sales using a customer relationship management software. Your CRM is only as good as your data that you put in that CRM. That's why it's critical that it becomes the cornerstone or the only thing that you have looking at you on your computer when you're running your business. Because when you're in your CRM, that means you're actively engaging your customers. When you're out of your CRM, you're doing something else. But in your CRM, if you're watching, because the beautiful thing about CRMs is there are trigger points, there are flag points. It'll say, our sales SDR people say, great, here are the 75 phone calls you've got to make today. It's already set up. Now, if you don't get through all 75, well, there's going to be 75 tomorrow, because every day there's going to be 75 phone calls, right? That's on average of what an SDR would do, right? So we're doing 30 calls in the morning, roughly 30, 35 calls in the afternoon, making sure that we're following through that particular process to engage and communicate with as many people as possible in this structure, right? So this is designed to keep you focused, to keep you on track, and to keep you clear. So very quickly before I move on, anybody got any questions? I'm happy to answer. There's a whole bunch of people here that are watching, but anybody got any questions, just type it in the chat. What are your questions? There's a whole bunch of people on here. It's good to see people joining us here on the webinar. Any questions about what I've shared, feel free to type it in the chat and I'll answer your questions. Is anybody using a CRM? And if you are, what CRM are you using? That'd be good to know. Just have a drink of my tea while I wait for you to answer some questions. Otherwise, I've done a fantastic job, and this has been a very comprehensive training, and I want to thank you for being here. Okay, nobody's got any questions in the chat. Cool. All right. So with that, I want to talk about your actions. Pick a simple CRM if you don't have one already. Map out your sales process. Draw it out like a map. We do have a person who's asked a question. I'm using my high level. Do you find high ticket prospects have an issue with getting voice drops? Rashida, it depends on how you're communicating with the market. It really doesn't matter. If you've let them know that they're going to get voice drops every now and again, then that's not going to be a surprise to people. As long as your voice drops are not invasive or not over the top or not pushy, they're more taking a helpful angle, you're going to get a much stronger resonance for those voice drops. But I would, in your process, I would work out what's the proportion or the percentage of voice drops in comparison to other forms of contact that you have in the CRM in high level. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question. All right. So pick a CRM, map out your sales process, sit down and draw it out. It's like a Venn diagram, right? So you sit down and go, okay, what happens to step one? And you map it out. This is how we go and generate a sale. The best way to map out a sales process is to work backwards, not forwards. So what happens is the client has paid you money and they're on board and you're at your onboarding call. That's the beginning of the last part of the sales process, your onboarding, right? So before that, what happened? They paid their invoice. They signed an agreement. Before that, what happened? You emailed the agreement to them to get them signed. Before that, what happened? You walked them through a presentation, answered some questions, and that was a presentation. What happened before the presentation? Well, you might have had an email or a call or something to confirm the appointment to make sure they showed up. What happened before that? You might have done a discovery call, asked a whole bunch of questions, got some feedback, prepared a presentation in your discovery, right? What happened before that? Well, you had a qualifying call, right? So you call the person, you qualify them, or before the discovery, there might be an email explaining what's going to happen at the discovery point, and then before that and after that, right, or before that was a phone call. That phone call was a qualifying call. This is how you qualify the customer. Before that, there was an appointment setting call, right? So this is a call to reach out, engage, get the person on the phone, get the person into the calendar. Before that, there was your outreach. It might have been a cold email, might have been a Facebook ad campaign, might have been a funnel, automated funnel that you were running. It might have been a LinkedIn campaign. So all of a sudden, we have like 11 or 12 steps that walk us through to the end of the sale. This is the fastest way that you can actually improve your ability to sell, because sometimes people miss certain steps and they wonder why they're not converting sales. So it's really important that you have that map. And once you've got that map, then you take that map and say, great, let's automate it. Step one, step two, and just place it into your CRM. Now you've got, now you know where you're placing the journey of the customer to buying. And that's why a CRM is super, super powerful. So set up your CRM. Very simple. Once you got your map, set up a CRM. Learn a little bit how to use it. Learn about tags. Learn about actions and tasks. Learn about triggers. All those sorts of things. Really important to keep you focused on the number one thing, and that is to make sales, right? Then you start entering your data and you manage your data on a daily basis as you're engaging with customers or as you're engaging with leads. You need to manage it on a daily basis. And if you've got team members and you want to give your team members access, and you have them have their own accounts and CRM and stuff like that they manage over there, right? So you start entering the data. So and that just didn't work. We are holding an event on the 18th of June, which is called the Website Sales Intensive. If you are doing lead generation, Facebook ads, SEO, AdWords, all these sorts of things. Landing pages and websites are critical part of the conversion process. And a lot of people undercharge for this. What I'm looking at doing is helping people to charge 5 and 6 figures for websites, landing pages, and process or funnels, right? So we're doing a website sales intensive. We're going to show you exactly how to target clients who will invest more than 10 to 20, 30, maybe even $100,000 on that type of platform. If you want to learn, spend half a day with me. I'm going to walk you through exact process. I'm going to show you how to do that. There's even some amazing tools I'm going to introduce you to that will literally open the door, client doors, to generating clients. So this is a really cool event that I'm holding, because we're going to show you exactly what you can do with an amazing tool to go to the market and generate clients within days, in some cases within hours, if you get it right. So it is website sales intensive, the web event for good. Every ticket buys, one of the big things that we are a big part of is we're trying to support sustainable global projects. And the sustainable global projects that we have chosen to support with this $97 ticket, which is a web event for good or a ticket for good, for every ticket sold, we are actually going to put fresh water plumbed with a tap into 3 homes. 3 homes that get plumbing, piping, fresh, clean water into those homes that don't have access to water. One disadvantaged child is going to have their tuition and education paid for an entire year. So this ticket pays for one child to have all their education taken care of, a disadvantaged child, for an entire year. An entire year. It's amazing. Super, super proud and super excited about this. Also, we're going to provide a beekeeping business for farmers to support their villages and support their local economies. Bees are really important to the planet. They are the life source of many things that we consume and we need, and they are very important to our greenhouse and our forestation, and also our plant life and flora and fauna. And so we are giving a bee farm to a farmer in Kenya to support his local village and to also provide an income for his family. So one child, underprivileged, full year's education tuition paid for. 3 families are going to get fresh, running, piped in, plumbed, tap, cold, fresh water into their home. Clean, right? And we're going to help a beekeeping farmer to support his village and support the local families. The web event for good, the ticket for good, every $97 is contributing to these causes. So I'm super, super excited. The website sales intensive is going to be huge. There'll be a private portal where you're going to get access to all the recordings, all the information. There's some amazing resources. We're going to give you sales scripts in there. We're going to give you processes, structures, a whole bunch of stuff you're going to get access to in the portal for this website sales intensive that is happening on the 18th of June. As I said, we've got a whole bunch of people joining us. You're going to be in a private messenger chat group with me and my team, so you'll be able to ask questions leading up to the event. We're going to provide you with some other cool stuff in there as well, so you're going to be part of that, and you'll have access to a portal. We've got a training program up and running already for you as a bonus in there as soon as you join, when you pay for this ticket. And as I said, on the 18th of June, 9 a.m. PST, 4 hours with me, 4 hours with me on maximizing your opportunity to go high 5, high 6-figure deals on websites, and also marketing processes that you're selling to the market. So if you're selling SEO, AdWords, Facebook ad campaigns, if you are doing funnels, this is one event you do not want to miss, because I'm going to be showing some really cool tools. Clifford Alameda, the founder of My Web Audit, is going to be part of this. He's got some amazing resources he's been sharing in this particular event. So if you would like to take advantage, it's happening on the 18th of June, 4 hours, all recorded, provided to you, slides all given to you, and we're going to literally walk you through a sales process and structure. I'm going to show you some really cool tools on how to engage customers at a very high professional level. It literally will blow people's minds away when you see some of the stuff that we're going to be sharing. So if you go to the website salesintensive.com, you'll be able to sign up for that ticket, $97. Ticket for good, supporting some amazing social sustainable causes for every $97 that is spent. And I'm looking forward to this one because I'm super excited. I'm going to be covering things that I've actually not shared before. So I'm going to be covering a lot of cool stuff in this sales intensive. So if you haven't booked a ticket, I'd highly encourage you to book a ticket. So with that, I want to say, I'm going to stop sharing here for a second. Rashida, on the webinar intensive, can you share the 25 scripts you just mentioned so we can customize the multiple stage? On the webinar I just shared, No, I can't, Rashida. That is for my champions private group. They get all those scripts and they get all those structures. So thank you for asking. But yeah, at that level, that's something that we've developed and spent tens of thousands, in fact, hundreds of thousands of dollars and hours of our time. That is something we're just not going to hand over to people. That's far too valuable. So thank you for asking, Rashida. Chris, is there time for a question? Are you able to show an example of how you use CRM to manage your strategic alliances? Does your CRM integrate with an autoresponder? Chris, they do integrate with autoresponders. How we manage a relationship with a strategic alliance is no different to how we manage a relationship with a sale. It's pretty simple. For us, strategic alliances are very powerful. They are worth millions of dollars in sales. So I'm not going to walk you inside what we do in our strategic alliance partnerships, purely because there's a significant value to it. But what I will do, Chris, is it's no different. So we have a process where we build relationships, and then we ask to generate partnerships with alliances. So those partnerships could be partnerships that involve some sort of financial engagement. Other partnerships would where there is no financial engagement, but one where we have a mutual value add that we place with each other. But we actually run through that relationship exactly the same way. Exactly the same way to that we would a sale. It's no different, right? It's basically, it's a strategic alliance partner enables us to leverage sales opportunity where they're giving us 10, 15, 100 client opportunities or more in some cases, where we get dual access to database and stuff like that. But the actual process to manage that, no different. It's about communication. It's about asking lots of questions, creating opportunities to engage and connect, making offers to partner with us. There's some, that's basically the crux of what we do at a strategic alliance level. So yes, so thank you for asking the question. Rashida, it is on the 18th of June, not 18th of July. It is the 18th of June, which is a little over a week and a half away. That's when it is, and it's 9 a.m. PST. That's when it's going to be on. So thank you for asking, Rashida. For those of you, if you go to website salesintensive.com, you will see all the details on the site. Thank you, and I know, thank you for buying a ticket, by the way. Super excited to have you there, Rashida. So with that, I want to thank you for being here. I hope this has been helpful to you. But I'm looking forward to seeing you same time, same bat channel tomorrow. Going to be talking about some other cool stuff along the way to help you to maximize your sales opportunities. Highly recommend that you rewatch this one because it'll show you the cadence of setting up a CRM for your business. With that, I want to thank you very much for being here. I look forward to seeing you same time, same bat channel tomorrow. Take care, everybody.